Hey there, guys. So today I'm going to go over how to bench press and run you through what I think is the correct way to bench press and what has served me well. And this is a way that I also coach a lot of my clients. So the bench press, yeah, excellent at developing upper body strength, mass, and power. One of the key lifts, obviously, in powerlifting, and it's one of those questions people always ask you: how much do you bench? Very rarely will you ever hear someone say, how much do you squat or how much do you deadlift? It always comes back to how much do you bench? And yeah, it's a great lift. So let's make a start and go through it all. All right, so first thing, grip. For me, I place my index fingers on the rings. I take the widest legal competition grip that I can. And there's two main reasons for that. One, when it comes to competition, it's going to be the shortest range of motion. And secondly, I look at the area that I have on my chest versus the area of my triceps and shoulders. I have much more room on my chest to build a bigger chest, which is going to be more advantageous long term to pressing significant weights. The other big advantage of that as well is when I've got the shortened range of motion, my elbows don't have to track as far past my body, which therefore puts me in a better pressing position. And it also saves on my shoulders. I just don't have to rotate them as far backwards to get into position. And I find it's definitely more beneficial in terms of overall progress. It may take a little bit of adjusting to get used to, and taking the widest legal grip for competition isn't going to be for everyone due to different biomechanics. But if you have the ability to do it, I'd recommend that you do so. The other thing is, with these rings, because this is a powerlifting bar, the rings are 81.5 centimeters apart. Your normal gym bar at the local gym, they can be absolutely everywhere. So it's important that you know how wide the grip is. You don't want to take a ridiculously wide grip if the rings are out here, because one, yeah, it's a little bit excessive, but the other thing is you run the risk of jamming your fingers when you re-rack the weight. So we've gone over grip width. When I grab the bar, I really try and get a tight grip. I don't want a loose grip on the bar. I'm really trying to grip the bar tight and squeeze. This just helps with overall tightness. And I'm grabbing the bar, and as I'm lowering it to my chest, I'm keeping that tight grip. When I get down to the chest, I think of the cue, pull the bar apart. So obviously I'm not pulling the bar apart, and I'm not pulling it enough to cause my grip to slide out. But if you have a look at the cue, pull the bar apart, you're just essentially cueing tricep extension. That's all it is. So it's just an additional cue. I'm not trying to pull the bar apart as I'm going down, because I'm just going to burn out a lot of energy, which my triceps are going to need later on. If you find it's easier, maybe only do it like 10-20%, but when you get down to your chest and you're pressing up, squeeze the bar and pull it apart at the same time. With feet, when I set up on the bench press, I try and line my toes up with the end of the sort of hamstrings starting with glute area, and that's just to get me in a good, comfortable position. I'm not trying to drag my feet all the way back and turn the lift into like a circus lift by any sorts, but I just want to have enough placement and weight behind myself that when I do lay down and arch slightly on the bench press, I'm in a comfortable position to maintain myself underweight, but also my legs are back far enough so I can utilize some leg drive. Yep. So when I bench press, getting in position, I pull my shoulder blades back and down, not just back, but you'll be able to see from behind the difference. So this is just back that you see a lot of people do. I'm quite restricting the movement. As soon as I go back and pull it down, my chest comes forward more, and I'm in a stronger pressing position, and I'm trying to maintain this as I'm benching. So I'm going to lay down on the bench, and I'm going to get in position using the cues that I've already said, and I'm going to slightly arch. I'll show you how much I arch. It's not a lot, but it's more to keep my chest higher and elevated and to help protect my shoulders. So get down, grab the grab the bar, index fingers on the ring, I pull my shoulder blades back, and now down. My feet are as far behind, like I'm trying to tuck them underneath me, but nothing ridiculous. I'm getting tight. I'm squeezing the bar, I'm pushing up, keeping a bit of tension, slightly, ever so slightly pulling the bar apart, and I'm keeping this arch in my back. So when I come down, I pause it here, my elbows aren't dropping far below my body. And I press it up. So this time, if I collapse my arch, you'll see how far my elbows come down, how much I round on the shoulders, and then that puts yourself in a very poor position long term, especially when you're lifting significant weight. So if I get back into position, you'll see my elbows don't drop as far down, and I'm a lot higher up. That's much safer on the shoulders. It's also a shorter range of motion as well, which is going to lead to a bigger bench press over time, but also it keeps the main work on the chest, which I'm trying to do, and grow a bigger chest, but it just adds years to my lifting career. So I'm going to touch over leg drive. It's relatively simple if explained correctly. So with my feet, when I get in position, as you saw, they're slightly tucked back. With leg drive, I'm trying to pretend there's a piece of paper under each foot, and I'm trying to slide it forward. But at the same time, I'm trying to drive my feet down at about 45 degrees. So when I lay on the bench with no weight and try and leg drive, I shift back that way. Obviously, when I get in position, grab the bar, get in position. So my feet are set, and now I lift the weight up. I'm slightly driving my hips up, like I'm raising my pelvis towards the ceiling ever so slightly, and you'll see the difference when I relax my quads versus switch them on. So with leg drive, I try and keep my legs tight, I bring the bar down to my chest, and when I want to press the bar up, I cue leg drive, so I'm trying to drive my feet at the same time that I'm pressing up. And what that does is it just helps with overall power, and the more muscle fiber you recruit, the stronger your lift is going to be. So when I'm warming up for the bench press, for me, I typically start with the bench press, and I just start with a plate either side. It's going to be different for each individual, and it's heavily dependent upon your strength level. For some of you, you might be warming up with an empty bar. That's fine. I typically do 2 sets of 10, and I find for me that enables me to get warm enough, and then from that point onwards, I will continue to take the weight up. So for me, I'll go 70 for 10, 100 for 5, 120 for a single, 140 for a single, and so on upwards until I hit my top working set. You can also incorporate push-ups if you don't want to use an empty bar, but the goal is just to get the chest, shoulders, and triceps warm, get yourself in position, and just feel through the movement and see how you're feeling. The secret to a good warm-up is just give yourself enough time. Don't skip over it, because it is important. And if you treat your warm-ups as proper working sets, the more quality reps you get in, it's just going to help with your movement pattern, and you're going to learn, your technique a lot better, a lot quicker, and it'll be more efficient long term. So don't just brush off your warm-ups as, something that's not important. You want to treat them with some, significance, but don't go all out in terms of don't be overly explosive, pressing the weight up. You are trying to conserve, energy to an extent, but you still want to know that you're performing a movement that you're trying to improve. So I'm just going to do a set of 10. Have a look at how I bench and where my elbows are in relation to my shoulder. I don't have them out here at the side. I have them relatively tucked in. This is a stronger position to press from. So just have a look at what it looks form-wise, and then I'll do a set from the side on, and you'll see exactly how it looks in terms of elbow positioning. So this time I'm going to show you from the side on position and how my elbow looks in relation to the rest of my body. So I'm going to get in position. So that was my run through of how to bench press. I'm sure in the future I'll make another video and be a little bit more comprehensive, as well as have some better camera equipment. But the tips that I gave you then, they should serve you well. They should improve your lifts, your technique, basically, add longevity to your lifting career. Drop us a comment below. Let me know how you went and how you found it. If you haven't already, hit like and subscribe. Help an Aussie out. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll continue to make a few more how-to videos in the very near future.